Oh yeah, how are you?
43rd Annual Curlers Corner Autumn Gold Curling Classic. I'm Jack Moss, and I'm here with the one and only Dennis Balderston. This is the semi-final matchup. We have Team Carey against Team Peterson. How are you doing, Dennis?
Fine. I had a good Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. I'm looking forward to seeing some good curling today.
Yeah, well, it's been great so far. Now, the Carey team just came off the ice and has to go right back on again. When you were coaching, what would you do if you only had a very short period of time between games?
Just try and keep them focused would be the main thing. They need to sort of have a 5 or 10 minute relaxation, a little bit of food, and then get right back at talking about what the game plan would be for the next game.
You know, we'd like to start off by giving a big shout out to our sponsors. Of course, Curlers Corner, Bernice Merrick, downstairs here in the Calgary Curling Club. Weston, Jiffy Lube, Coronado, Rockwatcher, Olson, Bonterra, and Enigma Resources. These events really wouldn't be able to be put on as well as they are without the support, the generous support of those sponsors. So thank you very much. What kind of a game do you think we'll see here today, Dennis?
I haven't been down at the club watching. I guess ice conditions might have a bit of reflection on how a team would play. But with the 5 rock rule, I think you're going to see teams trying to be offensive, and to try and get the lead before they go into a defensive mode. Yeah, the Carey team they just got off the ice from an extra end win over Jennifer Jones. But Carey, as with most teams, they're all in such a high level of fitness that I don't think 2 games back-to-back with only a 10 or 15-minute break will affect her performance.
And they are getting right into this one. A guard up, come around. And a freeze. Touch heavy. The Peterson team is one of 2 U.S. teams that are in the semifinals. Over on sheet 2, Team Sinclair is playing the team from Japan, Team Fujisawa.
That game started a few minutes earlier. They're down to, I think, almost skip rocks over there.
Yeah, really not more, but line's good. Room right now. Go if you can. Line's good, guys.
Jack, you've commentated on a couple other games. How fast is the ice are you experiencing?
It's been a pretty good speed. It's gotten up as quick as 15.5 seconds, I think.
And that would be hog line to hog line, right?
Hog line to hog line.
Oh, yeah.
There's some tricky spots to it. Adds to the strategy of the game, finding those spots and working around them and working with them.
Probably wasn't like I was.
Have you had any discussions with any of the teams? Are they finding, some of these spots are, I would expect all sheets are fairly consistent.
They seem to be. We've been doing sheet 8, and sheet 8 is next to the wall, of course, and that often makes a difference. But I think each of the sheets is very good. It looks like we've had some positive feedback on the ice.
Thanks, Steph. 11-2.
A couple of straight spots, I think, or straighter spots. Sweeping is critical, of course.
Yes, and they're all such high performance athletes and very fit, and the sweeping will be very important.
And we want to remind people to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn your post notifications on so that you're notified when each game starts. Of course, it's just this one in the final. We've been live streaming every draw.
Most curling fans will know Chelsea Carey. She's won the Scotties twice, both with different teams, and this is another new team, so I'm expecting the curling world will expect her to
try to freeze and
maybe
freeze.
Have another good run.
Than I thought.
She has at third Jolene Campbell, second Stephanie Schmidt, and lead Jennifer Armstrong. And Chelsea is amazing that she seems to have new teams on a regular basis and always does extremely well. I know she's very dedicated to the sport, of course, as all of the curlers are.
Unless you think that holds
I think if I remember correctly, Chelsea's still living in Calgary, but I think her team is from Regina.
That's correct.
This is Becca Hamilton that just threw.
Yep, straight.
She's been to the Olympics and also plays in the mixed doubles with her brother.
Okay, curl. Yeah.
And the Peterson team has Tabitha Peterson at skip, Nina Roth at third, second, of course, Becca Hamilton, and the lead is Tara Peterson.
Chelsea does have shot rock, but second shot has also got a piece of the button, so she's really trying to contemplate the next 2 or 3 moves to try and be able to score more than one.
It's good for us to see them mixing it up early like this. Teams don't always do that. It's maybe not so good for some of the teams, but it's certainly good for us that are watching.
I love this. If you play quiet and you tick ours and we sit, at least we're sitting around there with two and it opens up a side. Okay.
Good discussion. Make sure that everybody's on the same wavelength, know what they're going to be doing.
I think what she's planning on doing is raising her red guard. I'll know when I see the weight she's throwing.
Close. We're a little big.
Yeah, I think they're playing the raise on the red guard to push it onto second shot in the forefoot.
Trying to sweep it for line.
Yep. Okay.
All right. That was a bump.
Now the communication between the sweepers and the skip is amazing, I think. It's a nice little conversation that they have as they go along, where there's feedback about the weight and the line. You must have practiced that quite a bit, Dennis, the communication for the teams.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yep. Whoa. No. Tara. Hard, Tara.
Whoa. That turned out very well for the Carey team. A bit of a mistake by Peterson.
Thought it would go like yours.
Carey is now laying 2. With the one dangerous rock to her would be the one in the 12-foot, and she's going to remove that.
I think that will stay right there. You got it. Normal. Nope. Off. Off, off, off. Watch that. Okay.
A good throw. Cleans things up front.
Weight was not bad. A little bit.
I'm noticing when they throw up weight, there's hardly any curl.
There seems to be a very late break point,
Yeah,
and
well, I
there's
just saw
also a
hers,
couple of
and I was like,
places where
they, like, put her number second and
they
save
get a
right there?
bit of a run in the ice, I think, and the weight certainly affects that.
This is really good too.
Kind of a dangerous spot for Peterson. Trying to steal, you want to make sure that you have control of the front of the rings generally, and they do have some things out there they can hide behind, but they've got to make a good shot.
That's correct. If she was more defensive, she might have considered taking out the second shot, but that would leave Carey the option of drawing another one behind cover. So the U.S. team has decided that they'll make the first move behind the two yellow guards.
At a curl.
Sweeping it for curl. It's got the weight.
Perfect weight.
Yeah,
And
really good
it's totally buried. It probably can.
Just touching the tee line.
Carey's decided to remove the front guard, or hopefully from her standpoint she'd like to remove both of them.
They are a bit overlapped. If she can clean those up, she feels that she has a good chance to get her deuce.
They're able to remove one of those stones, and now the shot rock is probably a third in the open. Could be pushed back a little if necessary.
Joe, that one,
This is a good decision by Tabitha. She's going to take out the second shot in the rings, which is the red stone for Carey. And if I'm not sure if she can get a roll behind cover, or she's got to be very careful that she doesn't set up a double.
Yeah, I think it'll go. Yeah.
I think she's trying to play the hit in a bit of a flop behind cover.
Looks like it. Her stone in the forefoot is partly buried.
No. Clean. No! Becca! Whoa!
Well, that's a pretty good shot. Now that I've seen from behind the sheet, I can see that a double is not available for Chelsea.
Good calls. What'd you get?
That's not right.
Yeah, it seemed like it hit it harder than the 11, but
I think I heard them mention 11, so she's going to play the tap back.
Like a foot less, maybe.
Back line.
Okay.
Just try to get us close enough to
Yeah, she's going to play backline weight.
kill it, but to move it far enough that we're.
And what they mean by backline is the line that is
Speed feels
touching
good.
runs across the sheet at the back of the house.
It's great to
I
be
had a
able to
15-1
hear
on Nina's
the conversation.
to full 4, so that's faster than.
Yeah, so you could take like 2 feet. I was gonna say same as and 2 feet less per draw.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, they're of one mind on this.
This will be patient, so.
Okay, you got it, Chelsea.
backline.
Just backline.
Hack.
Oh, then. Jen, go with your hack.
Just through.
Just Jen.
And that rock's not moving over like they thought it would. The weight was pretty good.
Well, the weight was, she asked for back line, and it seemed to, it went to the hack,
I
and
think that's
that
the right idea.
prevented it from curling a bit more, which it Probably could have at least clipped the yellow rock. Probably wouldn't have removed it very far.
This is the 8th game for Team Carey in this Bonspiel. Of course, you think the ice, one might think that the ice is the same from game to game, but it changes within the game and it changes on every game. So as soon as a person thinks that they have it down pat, it's different and often a bit of a surprise. So they're still learning the ice.
Our first ends are not good.
Pretty tough calls for first end.
Down the center line in the 12-foot.
Yeah, I think as you heard her say there, she's playing the. She wants to get the center line to protect her shot rock and maybe have it in the 12-foot. If it is going to go a little deeper and has any chance of bearing behind that guard, she would. That would be the second choice. That would end up leaving what Colleen Jones used to say was a Christmas tree effect.
Yeah, tolerance is light. Full 12 right in the middle.
So discussing the tolerance, would rather be light than a bit heavy. Of course, they prefer to be exactly right on. Sweeper starting on it. Good result.
I think Chelsea wants to draw the 4-foot. If it did happen to curl enough, she could get a piece of the button, maybe for shot rock, but her goal here, first goal would be to get to the 4-foot and count out that second shot and only give up one.
But I don't want to go into the heavy stuff, so I agree. Sit down early.
Yeah. You got it, Chelsea. Let's make this.
Good discussion about the line that they're taking. Have to be careful to stay on the line that they know.
Wouldn't have been good.
Good feel. T-line.
Yeah.
I like the ad. I think you can stay down. Yeah, we gotta go. Yeah, mine's great. Never leave it, never leave it, never leave it, never leave it. Go, 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 go.
She might have got out into what she referred to as a little heavier ice. They're having to work it real hard here.
Go, 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 go. Okay.
Yeah. So she did get it out where she had a little fearful of it, that the ice might be a little heavier. And as a result, it's given up a steal of 2 to the Peterson team.
Sorry.
Now, I know, Dennis, that you always qualified out of A, so you were always well rested for the championship events. But some of these teams, the Peterson team is now in their 9th game. Team Carey in their 8th game. These things,
if you're in the good stuff, is
effort and the mental effort over the course of the championship can certainly wear on a team.
Yeah, and it's early in the season, so they're not in they're in good shape from fitness training, but it's always a little different when you get into an actual event and play the weekend, and then on the Monday, as we are today, this will be their 3rd game today, so they probably will be feeling a little bit of those effects.
These teams put so much effort into their games, into preparation. A lot of off ice, preparation, including nutrition, to make sure that when they get into these situations that they're going to be able to go and to be at their best for the full length of the time of the game.
What goes along with that is the mental training or mental preparation. A lot of these teams have team psychologists that work with the teams on a regular basis on how to maintain their mental fitness.
I think so. Should be good on this side too.
Now, you had some success as a coach over the years, Dennis. Tell us a little bit about your team that you coached.
Well, the team I coached, I was quite fortunate. I coached the Team Bernard team for, I don't know, probably 12 years. We had various success over the years. And I had a team that was very committed to the sport in terms of fitness,
14-2.
health. We had our own sports psychologist, and we worked year in and year out. Even our summers, we would go up. There was always ice to be had up in Edmonton, so we would make various trips in the summer up to Edmonton just to keep the feel for ice and that conditioning in good shape.
Did you have a hand in forming that team? Were you brought on to the team after it was formed?
I was brought on to the team, an existing team. As I said, I did coach for them for a number of years, and over those years we did have a couple of changes that were made. Just no particular reason other than sometimes players weren't available to play, and so we brought in a new player. But I think the team that we took, that we won the Olympic trials with and went to the Olympics in Vancouver, we'd been together for 4 or 5 years. I can't remember exactly prior to
Line's okay. Stay down though.
having that success.
Close. Whoa.
You know, and there's so many good teams out there. They just need to
Hold the line.
stay committed and.
Good. Really nice.
We even had a couple of years, I know we even had what I would call maybe a not so high level performance, but we were always keen to get back the next year and what we learned from the past.
Just a hair on this side.
And you always need some good fortunes. I mean, the year that we won, we played very, very well. We beat some very, very good teams. And we got maybe more than our fair number of breaks. But I would say it was our overall performance that got us there.
Wait only.
That's always the case, isn't it? There's such a fine line between going on and going home.
That's exactly. It could be one shot.
Line's good. Get it here.
And that's why you put in so much time and effort in preparing.
Yep, every bit.
Prepare for everything. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And we have another good end going here. These teams aren't afraid at all to mix it up. These players are also good now. They will play to leave themselves some very difficult shots at the end in order to get multiple points.
Exactly.
They don't mind rocks out front that they can push in, but they don't like to have the other team's rocks in front. There's a control zone that goes roughly from the top of the 4 foot to about 4 feet out front, and that's where you really want to establish your control.
Okay.
And you always want to be pushing your rocks into the other team's rocks. So you don't want things to be deep. We have a Carey rock that's behind the 4 foot here.
That's really what I was afraid of there. Like, I was just like, I'd rather you peel it.
Yeah, it was just very straight through, and I do think it curls in that spot.
I think coaching is quite important to teams now too. You'll find all the good teams have some pretty high-level coaches, and just I noticed the Peterson team has Lainey Peterson, who was on one of the Carey teams that won the Scotties, and she is now coaching this Peterson team.
Okay, we're just no. Fine.
Of course, Lainey has more championships than she can count.
She's now playing in the seniors with Cheryl Bernard. And I think they represent, I mean, they
11?
did win the province a couple of years ago, but were unable to go to the Canadians due to COVID. And so they were selected without a playoff this year to be the team that represents Alberta in the senior playdowns in Canada for the Canadian playdowns.
Oh, no. Oh.
Jeez, she's not even getting a guard.
Chelsea trying to run her own back.
Oh. Yeah, I watched her release on that shot. It was a high weight shot. She was trying to remove the guard, and she just came out with a lot of speed, and just when she was releasing the rock, she just set it back a little bit, and there was no movement with that amount of weight.
Could be in a spot of bother here for sure.
Do you like that?
But as we've seen in some of the earlier
Like kinda
games,
guarding this guy?
one good shot, one big shot can turn the end right around.
I like it kind of like a 3 though.
Yeah, we're down to thirds rock, so.
Did you guys use the number zones?
We did do it a little bit, yes. Not
Line.
So Peterson is calling for a 3.
Line's good. Well,
we did use the hog-to-hog
straight.
method of determining how quick the ice was.
Well, just leave it. Sure. Yep. Okay. Okay, fine.
Touch deeper than what she
That was a
called
5-6.
for.
Which was the same as somebody's draw. Becca's.
Yeah, Chelsea now is in the bail mode. She's there's a guard out front, and there's 4
I think it
yellow
just stops
stones
right there.
directly
I think this is a
related
shot.
to
If you hit it a
being
little
behind
thin and
that
lose it this way, that's ideal.
guard, and so she's got to drive it back and try and remove some, or at least remove that. Well, she's playing 2/3, so she wants to drive it back onto the yellow stone and hopefully remove at least 2 of those yellow stones.
Yep.
Good heft on this takeout.
It looks like it's. Well,
She got one of them.
well, she got one and moved the guard over. So it's. But all that Tabitha has to do now is keep throwing guards.
Now these guards, it's important that they're well placed. It's not just enough to throw it in the line. You want to get it in the exact right spot. So there's another red guard that's out there, and so she wanted to place this someplace in relation to that where there's
Little bit.
where it makes
Little bit for line.
Chelsea's next rock as difficult as
good.
possible. Too far out or too
Oh,
deep can be as
careful,
much
it's
of a
curling
problem
time.
as being offline.
Yep, curl a little. Curl. Yep. Yep, a little more. Go. Right.
Excellent shot, right where she called it.
Yep, couldn't be placed in a better spot. Kelsey's going to play the run back to try and
6-1.
remove the guard and or remove 1, maybe 2 in the house. Oh, it's falling back. Was only able to remove the guard. Still,
Looks like it fell.
Tabitha still has 3 shots in the house. 2 of them in the forefoot. 1 of them biting the button.
Well, we could just corner freeze our top guy.
Yeah.
Give her that stagger
Then
double.
she's going to double and probably be in the rings. We'll have these 2.
Yeah.
Guard. or is it better to guard, make her make this
Or what if we
freeze?
draw down right here?
I feel like
So Roth and Peterson discussing what options Chelsea Carey may have for
maybe
her
just like
shots. What are they going to take away and what are they going to leave?
just a little bit. Or we can keep it all the way over there that way.
I think what they're trying to do, and I agree with it, is
Yeah. Then she.
they want to guard. I mean, if the guard ends up guarding the second and third shot, that'll leave Chelsea a in-turn draw to the button or freeze.
Edge on edge with the second.
So I think they need to guard. What they're talking about guarding is the shot rock, at least a guard that covers enough
just
that it stops
inching it over just a
the
hair.
freeze.
Like you were just on this side of center, right? Got it. Okay.
If they get the guard in the right spot on the shot rock, that would leave Chelsea with potential for a double, but it doesn't look like there would be any chance for a triple.
Well, that's
Just
right.
And
bridge might
running
freeze the puck.
the Peterson rock into the other Peterson rock, there's always a good chance that it could stay too. I think this is a very well thought out move.
No, I want it just right here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't. She really doesn't want to get to
Yeah,
the
just
center
touch the
line, but she wants to
center
get
line.
close and up tight to the house.
Line's good. Yeah, Becca, straight.
Sweeper's cleaning it, holding
Looks like
it.
it's going to
Whoa.
be might
Bit of an over curl, I think.
it might yeah. If it could be in that spot as long as it was tighter to the house. I still think Chelsea has a draw. She didn't take the draw away from her.
Absolutely brilliant, Dennis. That's exactly what she's calling.
Like when she threw hack weight, I kind of like that feedback. 'Cause it's
I
kinda the
didn't.
same
Did you
speed
hear what
there
she
now.
said there? Was it hack weight she wants to play?
I think that's what she
Yes,
said.
I like the same speed
She's
there.
got to be careful not to overthrow it because they won't
This is
curl
a nice path here.
if she throws too much weight.
Yeah, just a nice throw.
Like
Yep.
that?
I like that.
Yeah, like I added a little bit, but I didn't like really stab it. I think I just need to be a little more aggressive with that. Get it running a bit. Does that sound right?
Yeah, sounds perfect. Yeah, let's go, Chelsea. Yeah, we're there right now. All there. We're through.
Still hasn't found the curl.
Trying to sweep it into the curl.
Was that?
Ooh.
Yeah, felt. Yeah.
Now she's left the opportunity for the Peterson team to actually draw one in there in the top
Well, let's
12,
give the
top
game.
8 foot.
The kick ad proportion was nice. Just
Yeah.
a little strong overall.
Yeah.
It's an aggressive move, but there's not very much risk as long as she's
Not
deep.
heavy. Yeah, as long as she's even if it doesn't make the house, as long as it's guarding the 4 foot, it'll be a good shot. But it's a better shot if she gets it into partially buried and into the top 8.
Yep. Whoa.
Whoa.
I would think a little deeper than she wanted.
Yeah, that's a little bit too deep. I think Chelsea can still I'm not quite certain. I can't see a good view, but she can get in there for second shot, maybe.
Maybe. Certainly be a lot more comfortable to be on the Peterson team for this end.
Yeah, because they've got Chelsea looking at that one lonely red out front in terms of running it in.
It touches this? I don't think it does.
I don't think a freeze gets her.
Yeah, the problem
I
with
think
this is I'm running
it
another-
gets to third.
But as
Might
long as
not
nothing
even
touches
get to
this, it
third
won't
shot.
matter. But I do think if you hit that, like so that the 7 came into here, you could lose at least 3 of them. Hair high. I mean, we're there's like 0 options. I think we throw that. I don't think I can.
Chelsea needing the
I might be
heavy
able to lose 2
artillery
that
for
way, but
this
I might
one.
also stop
And
it right there.
she can throw a lot of
Right.
weight.
Okay.
Guess she's going to run the yellow guard back, try and remove as many as she can from the rings.
Yeah. Gotta throw this really hard though.
She's going to throw it really hard. Her release is going to be very important here. A lot of people, when they throw it really hard, have a tendency to
Snap it
set the
back in
rock
there.
Okay.
wide.
Like.
Well, it is a hard shot, so you should throw it hard.
You got Chelsea.
No. She pushed it, set it in a bit, not wide.
Ooh.
So it's a score of 4, steal of 4 to make the score 6-0 after 2 ends. But we talked earlier, Jack, about coaching. I mean, it's coaching from my experience. I mean, I only basically coached the one team for a number of years, but there's so many things involved, not necessarily just on-ice performance and off-ice fitness. One story I can tell is
I think that's easier.
I kept a record of
And gotta keep
our
them, like, around.
team's performance year by year by year. And one trend I had noticed, and I pointed out to them, and they had no idea that they had a very poor winning percentage on morning games.
Really?
So what I brought in, I don't know, I think they were still half asleep or something. But anyways, what we tried doing, and we found it certainly improved our stats, was on a morning game, like an 8 o'clock game in the morning or 9 in the morning, we would head to the rink, say an hour before. I would drop them, I would be driving, typically. We would drop them off about a half a kilometer from the rink. You know, it might be 10 below, it might be 20 below, and they would walk that half kilometer to the rink. And just that outside freshness of cold air, whatever, I think it certainly woke them up. And I think it must have had something to do with it, because from being a 20% winning record in morning games, we went to about an 80% winning record in morning games. So it's all these little things that coaches can pick up on if they get to know their team real well.
And there are cycles. I know when my father coached out of the Northwest Territories, he took a team to the Nationals in Eastern Canada, and he had them change their sleeping time and their wake-up time to correspond with the time zone that they were going to.
That's a good idea.
3-hour difference is huge, and so if you have a 8 o'clock game, for instance, it might be 5 o'clock to your body on their first day down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all these sorts of things that can make a difference. Well, Chelsea now being down 6-0 after 2 ends is going to go full offensive and try and get back into this game, or if unable to get back in the game will probably not last the full 8 ends.
Well, she's certainly up against it. We have seen comebacks from this far down in the past with the 5 rock free guard zone. Gives you an opportunity to get multiple points. She doesn't need to get all 6 points back at once.
No.
Whoa. Line's good. Well, yeah, it's got a curl. 4-6. If you go, curl it.
Very impressed with the U.S. teams here. Of course, we've seen quite a bit of them over the last few seasons, for sure.
I mean, you look at it, there's three teams that were in the event, and 2 of them are here in the semifinals.
Okay.
So that their program in the U.S. is obviously very good.
You know, when your team went to the Olympics in Vancouver, it just so happened that at the start of the Olympics, I was down in New Jersey. I just rented a car. I was driving along to my destination, turned on the radio, and they had a national radio program in the United States, and the guest star was Cheryl Bernard.
Wow. Well, that was this year, wasn't it? Was this year? Oh, no, that was 2010.
And so when we got there, it was down to watch my daughter play in squash championships. And when we got down there, all of the parents, all of them, were vitally interested in, didn't have a clue what the game was about, but they were vitally interested in curling. They just loved it. In New York, they were showing it on the big screen in Times Square. It was phenomenal.
Well, they've done such a good job with television with curling that it's brought in viewers, well, probably from all over the world. The fact that now that you can hear, they have mics on all the players, and you can hear the teams talking strategy. It's probably the only sport that you can actually enjoy that.
Yeah, it's a huge difference to be able to hear them. And I like the conversation between the sweepers as well as between the skip and the shooter. Sweepers have to be in a rhythm. They have to know what the object of each shot is, and they need to communicate clearly. They don't always agree on their call on what the weight is, and then they have to make a decision about sweeping or not sweeping.
Right.
At the same time, taking into account the instructions they're getting from the person holding the broom.
Back. Board. Yeah, board.
My theory is the front end player was always to sweep as hard as I possibly could until the far hog line, and then stop and hope that the rock stayed in.
You're going way back in time now,
Way
Jack.
back in time. Anybody that's seen me sweep in the last 40 years knows how ineffective I am.
That's why us older players really appreciated the push broom. We wouldn't be curling today if we didn't have a push broom. That straw broom was very difficult to sweep with.
A lot of skill, a lot of skill and technique involved in sweeping with the corn broom. You miss it for the atmosphere. You don't miss it for the morning after playing 3 games.
Good shot.
Well, David has just got 2 rocks in the house and just, if possible, going to hit anything that Chelsea puts in the house.
And I see in the comments, my brother is indicating that maybe you should have walked with the team instead of just setting them out in the cold.
We're a little up
They
right now.
didn't pay me enough, Jack.
Yeah.
But you got to drive behind them to keep their pace up.
Okay.
Go back, go.
Nice shot by Nina Roth.
Now there's no guards out front.
Good sweep.
So I guess Chelsea's going to throw another one up. I think she called that.
With this rock in the front 4 foot, be a lot better for Chelsea if it was just behind the 4 foot.
Yes.
Clean.
We're through right now.
Clean it.
No, she's,
Back well.
Well,
I
just
was
clean, you guys.
incorrect.
Just easy
I think they're
clean.
trying to
Yeah,
just
we're
push
good.
that rock back.
Just behind the tee line, yes.
and stay in front. The
right up.
red rocks in front of the yellow rocks. That's what Chelsea wants and needs at this point.
Great weight.
Yeah, really good weight.
It's not always playing with easy playing with the big lead either.
No.
Tendency is to change your game style. I used to always say if I had a big lead, I'd just peel until it was tied and then go back to the original strategy.
Whoa! Yeah! Stay on it! Stay on it! Good. 9-7. Yeah.
Tight game over on sheet 2, 2-1. Fujisawa playing the fourth end.
And Fujisawa has last rock.
Sinclair does have 2 rocks in the rings, one front 8 and one just behind the tee line in the 4-foot. And they're first and third.
Same weight.
Line's close.
Yeah, we're close. Weight's close.
Chelsea's
Double
just
down.
trying to
Gotta go.
play those two rocks in the house, tap them back, and having a rock sitting in front of them. It's a bit over curling on her.
Yeah, weight.
Yeah, good weight.
Well, to this point, none of these shots seem to be working out for
I know.
Chelsea.
Well, but
The misses are always just on the wrong side as well.
like no ice at all, but I'm like,
I
hey,
mean,
so
Tabitha's going to obviously take out Chelsea's rock that's in the house. If I was her, I would consider taking out not only Chelsea's, but maybe killing one of her own. She's setting a wall up there that Chelsea can draw to, but she's getting too many rocks in play with a 6-point lead.
Yeah. We're 1, 2, 3. No. Think so?
close. I think no matter what. Yeah, right?
I think they got to take it out no matter what. It's just a bit, you got to decide what you want your shooter to do.
They don't, the clutter, the rocks in the rings aren't really helping them at all at this point.
No. Because
The corner guard isn't really guarding anything.
Yeah.
Can't hide behind it. But the rocks in the rings, are 2 of them anyways, are useful.
Yellow,
One in
yellow
the
bubble.
front
There's going to be a pocket
8
no matter what. We
leaves a
roll
potential
or
for a
roll,
draw behind.
we'll just get rid of it.
yep.
Peel.
But then Tabitha would probably just have the run back. So she's not too worried about that.
Right to it. Well, yep. Yep. Nah,
Leaves a bit of a pocket.
Well, yeah, well, that's what Chelsea's heading right for.
that's kind of safe, I think, but. Thanks.
She not only needs to weld this in
Lower her scoring zone.
to ensure that,
That
she
it can't
gets
be removed.
that
yeah.
it can't be removed, but she also needs to think of a spot and a shot where she'll have a chance to get 2.
That's right.
I think you can base it off last in for that draw. That's a little farther out, but
Think it'll be the same speed.
Because I think if she makes a perfect freeze here, depending on how it's lined up, Tabitha might just put another freeze on top of hers and give her the 1 and make her
Yeah, you got it.
try and play an in turn to the button for 2.
Line's good.
Okay. We're
Close.
bumping. Line only.
Whoa.
Go bump, Joe.
We're bumping.
Okay.
Sit.
Well, she can blast that through, I think.
Might be tough to get that through.
It is. Pretty much.
I think it's
She can hit it anywhere.
yeah, it could go.
You probably try and throw some heat to make sure that she does make it wiggle through. It's likely to hit off of at least one of
That one
the
yellow.
Peterson rocks, maybe two of them.
8-6 or something, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if she didn't hit it correct, she could hit it at such that it would double two of the Peterson rocks at the back and leave her in the house.
Close. Yep.
Looks pretty good.
She
Look
called
at that, right? Didn't touch a rock.
beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. She called 8-6, and I got 8-5-2 on the time that I took.
Chelsea can make a nose hit. She's trying to play a nose hit double for one.
You got it.
No. Whoa! Whoa! Never. Never, never, never.
Okay.
She gave up two, maybe three. What do you think, Jack?
Three.
Looks like
Gave
three.
up three, it looks like. Ouch.
Can we be done?
Yeah. I'm good.
I'm good. Like, put me
Yeah.
out of my misery already.
Yeah.
Now, the
Joe?
team's talking about not playing any,
Good
conceding.
luck, guys.
Give
They
you guys a
have-
break.
They have conceded the game.
That's it. A tiring day, a disappointing end for Chelsea Carey, but Peterson team gets to go on.
They'll have a nice break now before they go back on at 3 o'clock.
They'll have to be very pleased with their performance in this game. I want to thank our expert crew here, the technicians, and especially producer director Lisa Parent, put together this crack squad. The volunteers in these events are extremely important. Most of the committee is playing in this event. Lisa should be, but she's not because she's busy here 24 hours a day bringing this coverage to you. Our sponsors for the live stream are, of course, Curler's Corner, the Weston, Jiffy Lube, Olson Curling, Coronado, Enigma Resources, Rockwatcher, and Bonterra Energy. We thank them very much for their support. Now that game ended quite early, so we're going to try as best as we can to bring you some of the other game. We'll do some technical adjustments here and try to be back to you within a couple of minutes. And we're back.
Hi, Jack.
The Fujisawa team has just taken a point, and they're now up 3-1, starting the fifth end.
Fifth end.
Had the opportunity to cover one of the Fujisawa games earlier on, and I've also had the great opportunity to watch them practice a few times. They are a hard-working team, but they have so much fun, so much energy out there as well. Easy to have fun when you're winning, of course, and they've done a lot of that.
That's one thing I've noticed, since I've stopped coaching, is a lot of the international teams, especially from the Asian countries, are really taking an interest in this sport, and they've come over to Canada and played a lot, and used our coaching and have really developed some strong teams.
And we see how hard they work at the game. Like they are fully committed to it.
I know when I was coaching, they would come over and actually rent a VRBO in Edmonton. I think it was Edmonton mostly. They would rent one of those for 2 months and practice there and hit all the bonspiels for 2 months.
Full-time commitment for sure. We had J.D. Lind had been their coach, the coach of the Japanese teams, and he is now back in our locality.
Oh, I didn't realize J.D. was back. I know he curled. I saw him curling on a men's team last year, but I thought he was still involved with coaching.
Well, and I believe he is still involved in the coaching. I don't know that for a fact, but I think that he still is. But he's able to do his job from home. But he's been to the Olympics and to a number of world championships with the Japanese teams. We're probably a little bit more familiar in Canada with the Sinclair team.
Yeah, Fujikawa, for instance, she won the bronze medal at the last Olympics.
Jamie Sinclair has Monica Walker playing third for her, Cora Farrell playing second, and lead is Elizabeth Cousins. Of course, I saved the Japanese names for you, Dennis. Satsuki Fujisawa is the skip. Chinami Yoshida playing third. Yumi Suzuki at second, and lead Yurika Yoshida. And we know from our live stream, from the comments that we get, the passion and the interest from Japan. I'm wondering what time it is over there. It must be like 4 in the morning or something.
Yeah, this team has a pretty good resume. I mean, as I mentioned, they won the Olympic bronze medalist in 2018. It was Japan's first medal in curling at the Olympics. The team also earned Japan's first medal at the World's Women's Curling Championship, taking silver in 2016.
Got an interesting end shaping up. Of course, Fujisawa with the 2-point lead. We're at quite an angle, so it's hard to tell exactly where these rocks are in relation to one another.
From looking at the screen here, Jack, I think Sinclair has got second shot. Shot rock and the third shot both belong to Fujisawa, if I pronounce that properly. Jamie's down 2 with the last rock and is trying to manufacture at least 2 points.
Looks to me like she's trying to draw through the port.
I'm not sure, is she playing a bump or a freeze? I think the way they're placed, the best she can do is play a freeze. Yeah, it looks like draw weight, don't you think, Jack?
Looks like it. Might just want to get a little bit of separation between the red rock and the yellow rock.
Well, she did. We just saw was debating what to do. I think she's looking at playing a takeout on the one yellow rock and maybe clip the other one, but that's dangerous because it would click it probably right onto shot rock. And the other option is to throw an out turn and draw one right back in there and freeze to her one in the top 4 foot, which seems to be what she's looking at.
This team likes to play offense. They don't mind having rocks in the rings. Sinclair's not afraid to mix it up either.
Yeah, in this game with the 5 rock rule, you pretty well are going to be forced into that game, so you might as well sometimes your best to get at it first.
Lots of possibilities here. The team wants to make sure that they all know what they're doing.
Looks like she's going to play that in turn again, so I'm not sure if she's playing the tap on the yellow or throwing a guard.
That may be open.
Looks like she's
quiet wait.
no.
You're trying to move the rock with the sweeping.
They're sort of. Oh, that turned out very well. They pushed it back to the just behind the tee line and flopped over close to the center line. For our viewers, Jack and I are sitting behind sheet 8 and the game is being played on sheet 2, so we're sometimes having difficulty looking at the angles.
We are unable to get our camera right behind the sheet, but Dennis and I can tell you that there are rocks in the rings, but beyond that, not an awful lot.
Well, that turned out very well for the Sinclair team. They now have shot rock.
We're looking for some rocks to be moved around on this shot.
Yeah, she's not taking much ice.
Throwing a boomer.
Oh, she's going to take her own guard off. Sinclair now is going to remove one of the 2 Fujisawa rocks, and that would leave her 4 rocks in the house. So Fujisawa needs to be very careful with the her remaining shots. Sinclair with the last rock. Ooh, this didn't. Well, that was a very good shot.
Very good shot.
Sinclair team now has shot rock and 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
They like to see the rocks build up there. They're trying to put together a big end. So lots of rocks in the rings and hope to get a chance to make a good shot for multiple points. Still preserving the opportunity, if they have to take 1. Can't let the game get away on them by gambling too much. But at the same time, when you have your opportunity, you've got to go for it. Fujisawa obviously very aware of the danger that's involved in leaving these rocks in the rings.
I think that's why they're looking at taking out the 3rd shot rather than shot rock. They take out shot rock, may leave a double for Sinclair. If you take out 3rd shot, I'm not so sure there's any double available.
Fujisawa was the A qualifier, and A qualifier along with Eve Muirhead. They've been in good form this whole Bonspiel.
So what you're saying is they haven't lost a game yet?
They haven't lost a game yet. As long as they win their last one, they'll be very happy.
If they were using clocks here, they would have used up quite a bit of their time. It's been a long time. Now they've completely changed the... Oh, now they're just going to change turns. Looks like they are going to hit shot rock.
It could be dangerous for them.
Yeah, that, all I see that resulting in is you're leaving a double for Sinclair.
Could be playing quieter weight and just going after the 3rd shot.
Yes, that would be a much better call from my standpoint. It looks like you're right, Jack. That is almost draw weight. They may be just trying to breeze into the pocket there. Well, back to the Carey game, we've had a question about what happened there, why the game's over. Yeah, it was 6-0 play in the 3rd end, and Carey gave up another 3, such a score was 9-0 and conceded the game at that point. So it looks like they made a perfect freeze there, Jack.
Very nice shot.
So it's very difficult now for Sinclair to try and score those rocks that are behind the corner guards.
So now Peterson will try to move things around, give herself a good opportunity for her last rock. These teams are always thinking ahead. You guys must have spent a lot of time talking about strategy, generally for your team, as well as the specific strategy against certain other teams.
Yeah, we would always have a discussion before all games, because we would have what I call a book on each team that was playing in the Bonspiel circuit, and we had our own strategy, but it would be modified to who we were playing. Oh, she's not throwing weight. She's throwing another one into the pile.
As coaches, the question is, as coaches, what do you do to help your teams after a loss like that?
Try and perfect a short memory.
Yes, exactly. One of the best things an athlete can have is a short memory after a game like that. And you know, you have to look at, there's always some positive things that you can look at. You want to reinforce the positive things, and you certainly don't want to reinforce anything that's negative. So you want to definitely talk about what went wrong, but you also want to talk about what went right.
And it's harder on the younger teams because they take it so personally. But the teams that have been playing a number of years have had the experience of these losses and what it's like not to recover from them. So they're all well coached in terms of how to get over a loss, especially when you have to go right back on the ice for your next game.
Well, that's the toughest, when you just finish a game where it looks like you couldn't do anything right, and then you get to go back out again right away with that same mind. So you want to take that period of time until the next game, whatever period of time it is, to try to get yourself back into a positive mood. And sometimes to pick up your team as a whole. Things are going well, everybody gets along really well, but when things are not going well, then there's some divisions that sometimes crop up. So you have to be, as a coach, aware and cognizant of that, and try to make sure that the team is going to go back to the basics, going into every game knowing that it's 0-0 to start with, and if they play well, they'll have a good chance.
Jack, I noticed on the screen here there was a question previously from a Clint Cudmore. Is this the final? If they're referring to the game we're now watching, it is the other semifinal. The first semifinal between Peterson and Carey ended after 3 ends, so we've moved over to the other game. So the winner of the game you are now watching will play the Peterson team in the final at 3 o'clock. There was a nice shot just made there by Fujisawa. She punched out the shot rock, and now that leaves Sinclair with a draw to the forfeit. Is this her first shot, Jack? Can you see if this
it's
is
her last rock?
Oh, it's the last rock. She needs to draw the forfeit for 1 to be down 1 after 5 ends.
The sweepers jumped on it.
They're easing off now. It looks like the weight looks pretty good by how the sweepers are treating the rock. They've got backing too if it's got the right line.
I always felt that it was important to have the brooms down on the rock all the way down the ice, not necessarily sweeping your hardest, but have the brooms down so you have a little bit more control over the rocks. But there is a danger jumping rocks too soon, and you get them out into a path where they're set, and then they run too straight. They run along a different path than they otherwise would.
Yeah, too many young curlers sweep rocks, or young teams. One of the things they have to learn is not to sweep a rock right out of the player's hand unless they knew right off the bat that it was going to be light. then you can jump it right away. But otherwise, you need to listen to directions from the skip as to what the line's like and save yourself for sweeping hard later as the rock goes down the sheet of ice.
It's a good close game way over there on sheet 2. Advantage definitely to Fujisawa at this point.
Yeah, with 3 ends to go. And if you look at, of those 3 ends, she could have 2 of those ends, she could have the hammer, and only 1 end would Sinclair have the hammer.
That's certainly an important part of this game, is make sure that you're aware of what the scoreboard is telling you. They've manipulated it so that they have last rock in the even ends and a 1-point lead. Although it's a tight game, they're in good shape. Now, I'd like to mention the Autumn Gold Committee. The chair of the committee is Brittany Tran, treasurer Gayla Skurlek, Lindsay Makchuk on invitations, accommodations, the website, Anthony Reimer, media, Heather Rogers, publications, Nadine Scotland, online scoring, Hope Sunley, admission facility, Morgan Muse, club liaison, Dan Bubala, live stream production, the one and only Lisa Parent, and director at large, Chelsea Carey. Now, you know that most of those directors have actually played in this event, so they are extremely busy and they do such a good job. This is a long-running bonspiel, and I've often thought, the bonspiels that I know of, that it's the best run bonspiel around.
Which is easily shown by the number of international teams that come to this event.
Top-notch field. We get 3 out of the 4 finalists are international teams.
And it will be 2 international teams in the final.
Oh, this bonspiel's been going since 1978. A veritable who's who of curling world. The champions and finalists. What was the first year that your teams you would have coached in this, Dennis?
Well, it would have been in the late 1990s, 1997, 98, somewhere around there.
Very patient end being played here.
Well, we've got 5 rocks been played, so now they can start removing the only guard that is in play.
Everything lined up along the center line in front of the tee line. Nice peel.
And Sinclair, I think, is looking like she's indicating for another guard.
Nicely placed guard. Fujisawa will continue to peel that off, eventually forcing Sinclair to make a play on the rocks in the rings.
Yeah, because as it stands right now, Fujisawa does have shot rock, and Sinclair's going to have to make a move at some point.
I see we're getting lots of comments in Japanese. I'm only assuming it's Japanese, but I don't know for sure. I hope they're saying nice things about you, Dennis.
We'll never know. Another perfect guard. She will again remove the guard.
Do you think Sinclair prefers that guard to be out long like that?
Eventually she'll like it closer, because if there's ever a miss, she'd like to be able to run it in. She's down to her third to last rock. I think they're throwing another guard. Oh, she's not throwing a guard. She's bringing it right into the house. It just rubbed. I guess she was trying to draw the button. I don't know.
The Fujisawa team, considering carefully what they want to happen, there's lots of rocks in the ring, so there's lots of possibilities here. Some of the options could turn out very poorly for them, so they want to be very careful about the shot that they call where they leave their shooter.
They've made their decision. We're just trying to see what that may have been. Looks like she's playing a hit. Maybe she's playing a double. Angle at top, yellow one. Across.
Quiet wait.
Oh, very quiet wait. The left didn't remove either yellow, but left her shooter in out counting that one. So there's
Sinclair, it appears, as second and third shot.
yes.
And sixth shot.
Yeah, we don't have the mics on these teams, so we cannot listen, as you probably are aware that you can't either listen to what these players are discussing in the house on these shots.
Tempting to throw a haymaker into that pile, just see what happens, but that often doesn't lead to the result that you hope for.
I think she has to move some rocks here, because it's, if she plans on counting one or more, she's got to at least move that shot rock to the back of the house, if not remove it.
Quite often you line these things up and think that you know where all the rocks are going to go when you hit them, and then you're completely surprised that they don't go exactly that way. You have to spend a lot of time seeing the rocks, how they react when they're bunched together, in order to be able to call these accurately. I imagine, Dennis, all that time that you spent skipping school and playing pool probably helped quite a bit for knowing the angles.
Well, it's amazing. The number of curlers that are, well, there's two things. They're good pool players and they're good golfers for some reason. I'm excluded from that.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, there's a lot of things in pool in terms of playing angles and one thing they haven't incorporated in curling, though, is the ability to use the sideboards to bounce off of. You can't in pool.
No time limits on this game.
I don't know if is she drawing or is she hitting that stone out there in the 12-foot. She must be.
Maybe trying to come off of it.
She must be trying to come off it, because it's definitely, she's throwing hit weight. That's what she must be playing, is to come off of that and end up in the back of the 4-foot.
Well, if things stayed exactly the way that they are right now, which they won't, of course, but if they did, Sinclair might have opportunity to throw a haymaker to remove both those red rocks and get
Or,
at
but she
least
wouldn't even have to, Jack. I mean, I can't see if they're lined up properly, but could she come off the one, the one off in the far 12-foot? I don't know if she could come across that and make a double for 3, as it sits right now. Or maybe
looks like it's there.
it's like there if you threw enough weight. Good. And if Fujisawa makes this, you know, Sinclair still may play that shot to get 2. Otherwise, she could maybe draw the side of the 4-foot for 2. No, she's got to remove that red one, sorry. Yeah, she may have to play that one anyways.
Well, Fujisawa with last rock. Sinclair wants to be sitting shot, but they have to be very careful. They could give up a couple here.
Yeah, I made a couple comments earlier, not realizing that it was Fujisawa with the last rock. So
both teams choosing to play into the center of the sheet, jockeying for position.
yeah, Sinclair must be trying to by raising. She's trying to remove maybe both 2 reds here and have shot rock herself. Uh-oh. She did. Pretty good shot.
Good shot. Looks like she might have left an opportunity.
She's if she plays if she can play a double there, she would get 3.
Looks like
this is a shot that will probably win the game, and if she doesn't make it, it'll be tied.
It looks like if she sticks it on the nose, makes the double, that she would get 3 points.
Yes, I agree.
Not a lot of danger of giving up more than 1, which would leave a tie game with hammer in 7.
This is probably a good call, because the other shot would be to draw the side of the button, which would probably be a more difficult shot. She'd have to come around that red one tight and stop it right on the tee line and hope to have a piece of the button.
She could also bump one of her own rocks into the yellow for 2. No danger on that. I don't see a lot of danger in trying the double. Well, the team's set and
she's ready to throw her stone.
made their decision. out of the skip's hands. Jumped it. Trying to keep it straight. Great shot
for three.
For three. There it is.
To make the score 6-2 with 2 ends to go.
Well played end. So Sinclair is going to have to generate some offense here.
I'm going to throw caution to the wind and go totally offensive on this end.
4 down. She's looking to get multiple points and then a steal. For the Fujisawa team, probably the fewer rocks in play, the better.
Yep.
She's choosing to throw her first one in. Probably wants it full in the top 4 on the center line. It's hard to know when to throw that first rock through. In a situation like this, you've got a pretty sizable lead, but it's not insurmountable.
No, but that would have been an option to throw it through. The big question to me, I like the first one going in. It's what do you do with your next one? Do you put another one in, or do you throw it through? Because you could put it in a position that benefits, benefits the other team, if it's not in the perfect spot.
And we've seen teams try different things with that. We've seen teams freeze to their own rock. This one is perfectly placed in front of the tee line, top of the button, it looks like. And some of the teams have chosen to freeze to a rock in that situation. Sometimes they like to leave it a little bit in front, but if you do, there's no long corner guard. If you do that, you want to leave it in a situation where you're forcing the other team's play. Sorry about that. So you want to put this rock in a situation where it's not lined up so that there can be a double and a roll behind the guard. Sinclair has the option. Does she want to play with lots of rocks in the rings, or does she want to?
I think she's got to play with rocks in the rings, Jack. It's the only way she's going to get multiple points. She's going behind the corner now.
So double corner guard.
Got one guarding the other. Fujisawa was still playing what I would call a bit offensive with this lead. She's going to keep the game to the center of the ice.
Well, her rocks are placed in such a situation that eventually Sinclair would have to do something fairly early in the end, I would think, in order to give herself a chance to get some...
To score more than one, yeah, she needs to score more than one. Now Sinclair is going to remove a red one and try and roll behind the corner guards. Accomplish two things: remove one of the rocks from the center and also get one of her own buried.
One option that could be considered in this situation is just playing bump weight to try to get those red rocks to the back of the rings. Make it harder to take out the Sinclair rocks later on by the Fujisawa team, and also give something to freeze to in the event that you get the opportunity.
Fujisawa now is playing the option of removing guards. She could go after the one in the house, but she's nervous that Sinclair can bury a couple behind those two corner guards.
Probably looking at a numbers game. She can afford even to give up two, although she doesn't want to. So she doesn't mind leaving the Sinclair rock in the rings for now. So I'll bet you didn't think when you signed on for this job, Dennis, that we'd be calling a game from a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, I did sort of expect us to be behind the sheet, but we're following all the COVID rules. We're behind partitions, and we can only take the masks off while we're commentating.
Sinclair with the draw in behind that corner guard. First and third.
Ooh, this is. Did she? Looked like she called to angle raise the yellow guard into the pile, which I'm a bit surprised she could leave. Maybe she just played the peel because she hit it on that side.
It did look like she called that. Maybe she was just indicating the side she wanted the shooter to roll out on.
Yeah, that's probably right. Like another corner guard.
Sinclair has to stay patient with this. Can't be too eager to try and remove the Fujisawa stone too early. Got to make sure that she keeps her rocks in the rings and keeps an option for at least a pair.
It's always a safe call to remove the guard. She was debating whether or not to take one of those out in the house, and they finally made the decision to go with the guard, which is always a very safe decision.
Easy decision to make from up here, but when you're standing in the house and you see those two yellow rocks, one of them's open. Team conference.
Yeah, team decision on this one.
It's crunch time.
This is Sinclair's thirds last. I'm trying to, I can never just see how many rocks are left. I think it's their thirds last one.
Not sure what they're calling here.
I can't tell if they're trying to push their own yellow one into the 4-foot or throw a guard.
It is indeed thirds last. Probably trying a little bump. They could either bump their own rock to a freeze on shot rock, which give them a good opportunity of hitting something into it, or maybe bump it behind the red rock in 12-foot. Working it really hard.
Well, they obviously want it in the house. Well,
Yeah, I'm not sure that worked out for them.
no, I mean, Fujisawa can't hit it without. She can hit that. But is it third shot? Third or second? It's going to leave. Sinclair's going to have now a tougher time removing that red one. That she's corner froze on her own.
And the two Sinclair rocks at the front of the rings being overlapped
Yeah.
takes away a lot of options. Hey, Dan. Nice little hit and roll out.
Yeah.
Over to you, Jamie.
I don't know how much Jamie can see of that rock. You can see a piece of it, but I just don't know how much. Not very much, I don't think.
Might be forced to do something with their own two yellow rocks.
Yeah. Jiggle them a bit.
What would your inclination be?
At this point, I would think she needs to, I don't know what weight she's playing, but she needs to jiggle those yellow ones so they're not corner frozen to each other. Because as it stands right now, she's got no way of getting that shot rock.
Quiet tap, and she just moves her back yellow a tiny bit so it's in front of the shot rock.
So it's open, yeah.
Get some
The
separation.
other one's not going to move much. It's going to be jammed right into that.
Maybe even move the other red in the 12-foot over a little bit.
Well, she's still got a problem with shot rock. I guess she could go off can't the angle looks like she could play off that yellow one that's in the 12-foot with her last one, but Fujisawa maybe she's looking at removing that.
Looks like Fujisawa is first and third.
I agree. I guess Fujisawa might be able to hit those two at the front on the nose and make a double and be laying 3. Maybe not 3, they'll be laying 2.
Well, she really wants to make a good shot here.
She do.
Otherwise, she will give Sinclair a chance for multiple points.
I mean, there might even be a double off that red one in the top 8 across the house to the one in the 4-foot.
Yeah, it looks like that's there.
So Fujisawa, you know, rather than just peeling it out, she needs to hit that and roll it into shot rock.
It's throwing pretty decent weight.
Not sweeping it. So
not sweeping it much.
Oh, she did. It's a good shot. She's laying 2 for sure, maybe 3.
Very well done.
Sinclair's got a score here. The game's basically over.
Okay, there you go. You gotta look at that triple. We can't tell the angles, but it doesn't look like there's much there.
Doesn't look like a triple there. She's also considering drawing for 1, but that'd still leave her down 3 without the hammer coming home.
Nice, you made it worse.
Oh, she's going to play off that.
Really not much choice here.
Yeah, I think she's got a... I can't see the angles well enough to see if she could... She can make the double easy enough, but whether it will jiggle that other one out of the 8-foot to let her count 3.
He's got a good angle into the shot rock, but we can't really tell what the angle is for the possible triple.
She's close. She got her 1.
Got 1. Good shot, good try.
That shows you how important that Fujisawa shot was, her last one, rolling into the 8-foot.
Absolutely.
If she'd have just peeled that out, she would have given up 3.
So 3 up without last rock. Sinclair will need to be putting some guards up. Fujisawa probably won't want to be complicating the end too much.
She might put 1 in the 4-foot to try and keep the game to the center, but other than that, I wouldn't expect her. Well, I don't know how many she'll put in there. She can't really take out any of the guards until the 5th shot. Till her second's first stone.
Fujisawa can't really relax here because as
Well,
we've
she's
seen in
go-
some of the earlier games, things
Yeah.
can happen in a hurry.
She's going to play the tick shot. Teams practice this shot a lot because it can be a game winner if your front end can make these shots.
Such a difficult shot, too.
Perfect.
Good job. Move the shooter over to the boards. Move the Sinclair rock to corner guard position. You note that Sinclair put her first one up as a long guard, hoping that she would get a chance to put a double guard on it, leaving lots of room for the second rock. The 5 rock rule, you can put the first one in either spot, either tight or long. To replace it, and Fujisawa playing the tick again, it appears. She's going to negotiate it around the corner guard that she just moved over.
Yeah, and if it hits the one that she had hit previously, it'll just be closer to the center line, so it'll cover more of the forefoot.
Great shot. Great shot by Sinclair team.
Oh, just skim by it. Fujisawa can now start removing yellow stones.
There's the double guard that Sinclair was hoping for. Job well done by her front end. Second Suzuki with an upweight shot. They can throw some heat.
Yeah, they don't have any difficulty throwing lots of weight. Nice straight deliveries.
Sinclair needing rocks in the rings pretty soon here. Nice draw through the port. Really hoping for a miss.
Yeah, they need a miss. They've got one in the house, and they have 4 rocks remaining of their own, and they just need to score 3 of them for a tie.
We haven't seen many misses from these Japanese players to this point. But if that's all you got, that's all you got. Now coming in behind a corner. Got to get something going. Taking it deep, just behind the tee line.
Yeah, I think the main thing there was to get it behind that corner guard.
Fujisawa lining it up, making sure that she knows the correct angles where she's not going to get herself into any danger. She does want to remove that corner guard and expose both rocks in the middle. She doesn't need to take them both out.
No, I mean the main shot here is to remove the guard. It's a bonus if they drive it into the house and remove one of the rocks in the house.
Great shot. And Sinclair running out of ammo here.
She'll be guarding one of those with her third to last rock. If you played this out, I mean, she'll keep throwing guards till her last one. Fujisawa will keep removing the guard, and then Sinclair will put a last rock in the house to be laying 3 to force the tie, and all Fujisawa has to do is remove 1 to win the game.
Still wants to be careful on this one, throwing some heat at it.
Yes, he's trying to remove 2, but as long as they get the guard. Just got it.
All 4 of the Fujisawa team seem to be very comfortable throwing that up weight.
Yes.
Almost identical when they throw.
This is, Sinclair, I mean, she's only got 2 choices: to go in the house now with her first one, or throw the guard, go in with her second one, and can only hope and pray for a miss with Fujisawa's last one.
And it looks from our vantage point like she's going to have to leave 1 rock open.
Yes, she can't guard them both. She's going to guard the one at the top 8.
A real gutsy play might be to freeze to one of those rocks. But that would have to be exact. That might give the opportunity to leave 2 yellows in the rings. But I'd have to say the odds are definitely in favor of Fujisawa.
This guard's got to curl quite a ways. Oh, it's coming over now. Well, she could just remove that one, and then how does Sinclair get?
Be tough to split that on.
Yeah.
Possible though.
Still leaves Fujisawa with a wide open hit to win.
I don't think she'll throw this one light. Looked to me just like the last one.
Oh, you don't let them,
Good hit, rolls over, stays in the rings, makes that split nearly impossible.
Yeah, because she's got to get both fully into the 12 plus a bit.
Tough shot. Sweepers are starting on it, holding it for line, it looks like. Good try, but not quite there. So we have our finalists. Great game by Fujisawa team. Sinclair must be disappointed. They are hanging in there and hanging in there. The game just got out of reach for them.
Got out of reach with that on the 6th end when Fujisawa scored the 3-ender.
Now, I want to thank our sponsors again. Thank you. Of course, Bernice Merrick, Curler's Corner, the Weston, Calgary, Jiffy Lube, Coronado, Rockwatcher, Olson, Bonterra, and Enigma Resources. And thank everybody for watching. We'll see you at the next game. It's scheduled for 3:30. And we'll see you then. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Jack.